Peace, light lords. Peace, light lords. Great awakening to all of you, and grand rising to those who have not yet awoken. MASHIAC is back. MASHIAC gets better. MASHIAC gets better and better with teaching every day, every moment. Remember to do your affirmations. Today we're going to be focused on the basic structure of reality. As when we find out the basic structure of reality, then we'll find out what we're supposed to be doing in this motherfucker. We'll find out how everything works and what everything is based off of, how to connect with what everything is based off of to get more things accomplished. Okay? Now, the first question we have to ask is, what is reality? Okay? What is reality? When we ask this question, then everything gets to break down to its simplest format, the way we can see it plainly as it is and not what we think it is. Okay? When we see everything plainly as it is and not what we think it is, when we figure out everything for what it truly is and not what we think it is, it's better off for us, because your thinking can mess you up in life, and that's what's been messing up a lot of people. It's been messing up a lot of people just thinking what they think is the truth of everything, when it's not. It's not that you're making it too complex. Okay, you're making it too complex. Okay, the simplest thing you can do is find out what actually is, then base your thoughts off of that, while still expressing it through your personality, through your specific type of way that you think, but still keeping that foundation of objective thoughts, objective reality within the back of your mind, within your subconscious. We have to reprogram our subconscious minds. See, we go through these public schools, we go through all this schooling in Babylonian society, and we were never really taught, or we're supposed to be taught when we're children. When we're children, we're supposed to be taught the basic structure of life. That's all we're supposed to be taught, the basic structure of life. And then so on up from that. Then we get to the knowledge and the mathematics and stuff that you're supposed to apply when you get up of a certain consciousness, and the trial and error and things like that, in the equations and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do here is reality is the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. Okay? It's what really is. It's the state of quality of having existence. It's actually what is and what actually exists. That is what reality is. Okay? Now we know that that is what reality is. Okay, but how do we even see reality? How will we know what actually exists instead of our ideal notion of what exists? How do we know that? How do we know that? Okay, the word reality has the word real in it. So how do we know what's real? You think touching your body? You think touching your body is real? Is it real? People think it's real, but is it really real? Is it really real, fam? That's what we need to be asking. Okay? We need to be asking questions like this on a constant basis, actually opening the minds of people, becoming the angles of light that can open up their consciousness. See what I'm saying? Give them to see the objective things of reality. Now, how do we see this reality? How do we even experience this? What is the main thing that helps us experience this reality? What is the main thing that helps us experience this reality? What's the main thing that helps us experience what is? How do we even create notional ideas or an idealistic view? Because that's all created from reality, but it's not viewed. It's not experiencing what is. It's not experiencing reality. So in order to actually start to experience reality, and take away that idealistic view or that notion of what you think is, You have to find out what helps us see this. What is this? Now the first thing, the source of everything, of sight, of actually seeing this reality, and the energy that the energy that goes through our bodies, in and out of our bodies every day, is the sun. See, the sun shines light. Everything on this planet, everything on this plane of existence, everything on this plane of existence, in some way, shape, or form, uses light. Uses the light from the sun. It uses the light from the sun to actually make its food. It uses the light from the sun to actually use energy. See, the melanin within your skin, it traps the light and then redirects it to different parts of the body so that it can exist and can have form as a human body and other bodies that use melanin. But you have to have a system of taking a systematic program of actually taking in light as a substance or using light in some way. So the next question is, what is light? It says we see this reality using light. We see this reality with light. Light helps us see this. But what is light? What really is light? See, light is the natural agent that stimulates sight and makes things visible. Right. I know a lot of you probably like, okay, duh, I already know that. I already know, like, light, we need light to see. Like, there's light, and then we're in darkness, we can't see. But that's not completely true. Light and darkness are actually one thing. And what that one thing is electromagnetic energy. And there's just different forms of It's just different forms of electromagnetism. See, light, as soon as you, take a light bulb, for instance, okay? Take a light bulb, for instance. When you take a light bulb and you flick the switch or flick whatever source that sends electricity to that light bulb, to the wires within that light bulb, the wires within that light bulb are actually begin to vibrate because of the electricity that's put into them. The energy begins to vibrate whatever other energies are around it. And when that energy vibrates, it vibrates and moves the energy around it to the point where it becomes photons. It's the same energy. It's the same energy that's there. That's what darkness is. Darkness is the energy. It just becomes inverted and becomes a different type of substance and changes form when it gets so much energy and electricity sent into it. That magnetism moves all those particles around, and it moves those particles around and creates what is called photons, which then emits light, what we see as light. So when we see this thing called light, we're gonna have to actually dive deep into what this light is. Okay? Dive deep into what this light is and how is this thing making everything move and making us have feelings and making us have senses and doing all of this, because without light you basically can't do anything. Without light, there is no existence. Without light, there is no reality. So they go hand in hand. Without light, there is no reality. And that's just point blank period. You got light. You got light. Without light, you can't do anything. Okay. So the next question we gotta ask is, what is the light doing? What is the light doing? And this is a very, very difficult question. It's really a simple answer to this question. But you know, we've been taught bullshit, so I'm just gonna give it to you. You know, what is light doing? Light is creating a simulation and a hologram. It's creating a holographic simulation. And what proves this is the fact that light is being used to create three-dimensional forms by interfering with itself. Okay, as you can see, the definition of a hologram is a three-dimensional image formed by the interference of light beams from a laser or other coherent light source. Coherent means a whole. Coherent just means something that's whole within itself. And what's whole within itself? The sun. The sun is whole within itself. The sun is whole within itself. So if the sun is whole within itself and all of the light is coming from the sun, then the light is creating a holographic representation. It's creating a holographic simulation. Simulation is an approximate imitation of the operation of a process or a system. And it represents itself, it represents the operation over time, which means whatever simulation is being created, whatever's within the simulation is representing the process of it being created. So that means that everything in existence is representing life. Everything in existence is representing light. And it's representing the different ways, all the different ways that light converses with itself to create the hologram. Now, now you'll be like, okay, if this is a hologram and this is just a simulation and stuff like that, if this is just a hologram and this is just a simulation and this isn't real, then what is real? And how am I feeling this? How am I feeling all of this? What is real? And how am I feeling all of this? That's the next question. What is real? And how am I feeling everything? Okay? How am I feeling everything? The way that you're feeling everything is first based on fractality. Fractals. You look up the word fractals, it just means a geometric figure or a curve. A curve can be invisible, okay? Which means a curve can be a curve of electromagnetism. It could be a curve of energy, which has the same statistical characteristics as the whole. If you look at flowers, every flower in its species makes the same geometric shapes. It grows in the same way. It makes the same type of developments. Okay? It copies it. When you see the petals of a flower, you see the bigger petals, and then you see the smaller petals just looking exactly like the bigger petals, but probably turned a different way, and then, you know, so on and so on. And it goes in and uses the same pattern over and over. The similar patterns recur at progressively smaller scales. And they describe partly random or chaotic phenomena such as crystal growth, fluid turbulence, and galaxy formation. And when it comes to fractals, the simplest way to explain a fractal is to explain how an atom is made. When you see how an atom is made, and it has a nucleus, an electron, a proton, and a neutron, and the neutrons and the protons are within the nucleus, and the electron is floating around the nucleus, and then you compare it to the way a solar system is made, which the sun is the center, which is the nucleus made of protons and neutrons, and the planets are electrons. So when you got all these different metals and forms of metals, they're all representing different galaxies. All these different periodic tables of elements. These elements are representing different galaxies, different star systems. Okay? That's why our star system is made in a certain way to actually replicate what type of life can be here based on the element that it reciprocates. Okay, that it reciprocates and that it actually looks like on the periodic table of elements. And you can go back and research that yourself. That's your homework. But see, yeah, everything is fractal, and it is a holographic simulation. But still, we want to know, how do we feel? How do we feel this isn't real? How do we feel? How are we doing everything? How do I touch another person and it makes me feel like I'm having this sensation? You know, it's because you have these things called senses. You see? These things called senses. But, you see, senses are created from light, like everything. You see? When you're a stimulation is nothing but the encouraging or the pushing for activity, for more activity. So when light becomes so active with itself, when images become so active with themselves, that's why soon within the next decade or so, within the next decade or a few decades, we're going to be able to have simulation machines or VR machines that actually, when you put them on or when you go into them, it's like this reality. It's as real as this, and you can feel everything. That's why when you have dreams, that's why when you go to sleep, you're like, okay, I'm asleep, but I'm not conscious of this body. But then when I go there, I'm conscious of another body, and I can feel everything there, and I can be scared, and I can run, and I can jump, and I can do all this stuff. And it feels so real because light is communicating with itself so much in such a way, so actively, that it's creating a stimulation. And that stimulation within the human body is called a sense. And that stimulation within biological systems is called a sense. Okay? It is a feeling that something is the case. It is a feeling that something is real. Okay? And if you look up the word simulation or you look up the word simulation, it'll go deeper into it. It'll actually say that it's something made in order to be studied so that you can study the process. We're in this to live and study ourselves. Everything is yourself because you are a fractal version of the holographic universe. The universe, this is the basic structure of life. The universe is holographic. It's holographic made by light being projected. Okay? But what's behind the light and what projects the light? This is something that you know what I'm saying, you can look it up, but you can try to look it up, but it's not going to be all over the internet. This is the fact. This is the fact. There is darkness behind their light. There is darkness emitting their light. Like I said about the light bulb, and when you're in a dark room and that light bulb is sitting there, it's still the same light bulb. All what happens is that light bulb is made in a fashion, is made from the basis of reality. They don't teach you how to make light bulbs. They don't teach you how to make light bulbs that often. They're not teaching the masses how to make these devices that we're on. You have to actually look this stuff up, study yourself, or actually get into one of their Babylonian societies, where they won't actually tell you how to utilize this as a consciousness and utilize it mentally, but they'll tell you how to put certain metals together and wires together to get some stuff done. But this is what it's all based off of. The light bulb is sitting in darkness. All that happens was a switch, a thought. And that created a system of vibration and activity. Thoughts move things. Your thoughts move. I mean, if you didn't know that, then just close your eyes and see what you're thinking about. See what you're visualizing. What are you seeing? Things are moving within your mind. You might have random thoughts, and it's all moving. It's all moving. It's all moving. So that's all I want to come here and say today, man. I'm MASHIAC, and MASHIAC is here to get greater and greater and help others as they get greater and greater as well. So just begin to break down the basic structures of this existence. When that light bulb gets that electrical impulse, it changes the atomic structure of the environment, which is called light or photons. The speed at which it does it is so exponential. But see, thought, how this whole reality works, thought is a fractal of the system of how that works. So that means light is on a smaller scale, just like fractals. I mean, when you see how fractals are made, light is on a smaller scale, thought is on a faster scale. Thought is happening simultaneously. It doesn't take a certain amount of time. It doesn't take 186,000 kilometers per second. You know what I mean? It's only 186 miles per second. It takes instant. It's instant. So when you think the right thoughts and you think them often, it starts happening. You automatically start connecting with their reality. You automatically start connecting with this simulation of something that already happened. This is a simulation. This is a present simulation of the past that we're living in the future. We are literally in the future. The last is the first, and the first shall be last. Everything is connected. There is no ending. There is no beginning. Everything always was and always is. We're coming upon the time to actually know this. We're coming upon the time within this current cycle of life to see that when you project, when you put so much technology together, and you create a reality within that technology, you can boost the activity of the pixels, or you can boost the activity of the tools and the mechanisms that's used to create that simulation to the point where everything becomes so active that it becomes what we see here as real. And that's how everything works. So I'm MASHIAC. I am light, I am love, and I am here to live out and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. I love myself. Peace out, everybody.